Welcome to Prima Solutions SOA Insurance, otherwise known as Prima Repository. Over the next few minutes, we will show you how Prima Repository can help jumpstart your next SOA insurance initiative. The decision has been made to modernize and unify your IT infrastructure, and now you're considering implementing an SOA strategy. For a successful SOA strategy, you must have the right tools to ensure reusability, agility, and interoperability for your SOA initiatives. So what are the key SOA components for such a large-scale initiative? A BPM engine, service framework or ESB, a rules engine, and an EAI or integration tool. If you embark on a best-of-breed strategy, you'll find multiple challenges, including integration issues between the different components, different technologies and environments, asset discovery, and the complexity of the IT environment between specific expertise needed for each component for maximum usage and dedicated resources to maintain each component. Considering there is another solution to an SOA repository, what if the SOA framework has all the components you need and integrated? This means no integration issues, no deployment complexity. This strategy can guarantee a high level of reusability because every asset will be discovered in the same location. Prima Repository is the only all-in-one SOA framework on the market, the best jumpstart for your future SOA insurance applications. Prima Repository has 5 unified core parts. A business repository that contains business processes, business rules, business services, and objects that can be organized around business domains. The business repository manages the lifecycle of the assets. It features powerful search and validation utilities to guarantee the consistency and the integrity of the repository content automatically. The BPM and service orchestration component. Prima Solutions' own BPM tool is designed to build business processes around human-to-human activities, as well as the orchestration of services. From a business and technical standpoint, this component will monitor the business processes to ensure optimum efficiency from your business users and resource organization. From a service orchestration standpoint, it solves the issue of reconciling business service definitions with existing transactions supported by legacy applications. The USF, Unified Services Framework. This component allows the decoupling of a service definition and service implementation without limitations in the implementation types, which means that it's not limited to only web service implementation. The rules engine integration is native integration with the rules engine. This integration enables the control of business process and service orchestration flows through the usage of business rules. The Studio and Monitoring Console. The Repository Studio allows the design of insurance processes through a graphic interface. The Monitoring Console can be used to test services, business processes, and service orchestrations, or to monitor the execution of processes. As you can see, Prima Repository offers a unified library for your middleware assets, ideal for application transformation with SOA and for leveraging your existing legacy environment in order to easily build composite applications. In order to have a successful SOA initiative, a business repository is essential, where assets such as business rules, processes, services, and objects can be located easily. You can only reuse what you know and what you can find. Business people can then configure processes, services, and rules in the repository, which can be reused by multiple IT teams for different applications. This is how you can guarantee a high level of reusability and therefore a proven ROI with number of projects and reusable assets. In this demo, we will show the navigation features found in Prima Repository through the Repository Studio. On the left side is the navigation menu outlining the repository structure. The structure is flexible and can be adapted to any context you decide, whether by project or current activities. So, for example, you can create an underwriting package and classify artifacts under this package. One of the great things about this repository is it functions as a library of artifacts, which can be rules, objects, services, or service connectors. It's very easy to find assets in the repository. For example, I'm trying to find a contract element. Quickly, we can search the repository, and here we find the contract elements. You can see that it opens the object. In looking closely at the object, we see the object is represented here with a different attribute which belongs to just this object. We have a description, but also have keywords. This business repository provides the ability to add business metadata to your business repository assets. This feature allows you to search using the keywords and have cross-dependencies. Continuing on, if you go further into the underwriting component, you can see we have other assets, such as one for email notification. In this component, you have the ability to describe email notification with dynamic values coming from the object defined in the repository studio. So you see that in this example, attributes for the policy will be populated directly from the repository and sent to the email recipient. Services can also be defined in the repository. We can get the models and obtain the definition of the service, as well as get the information related to its implementation. Every asset has keywords, and here you can see the different keywords associated to the service. This is the area where we can find the rule set. Having the ability to link rule sets from an external rules engine so it can be used directly across the business processes or service orchestration is critical for SOA. Finally, we see the business process engine with the ability to define the business process instances. And as we can see, we have the signature and an example of business process. So now you know the Repository Studio features and how to navigate the Prima repository through the Repository Studio. Prima Repository Business Process component supports end-to-end automation of complex business processes involving human and system activities. Thanks to the native integration of the business process engine with Prima Repository, business rules and business services can easily be used in the business processes by introspecting the repository content, which means no integration issues, no discovery process, and a high level of reusability. Because the insurance business is known for needing the ability to manage a single process over very long durations, the business process component was conceived to handle process evolution by providing features such as version management or design of sub-processes. Business process agility is also covered through two industry-leading mechanisms that ensure your long-running processes remain undisturbed by process evolution. The BPM will keep existing processes running while the process definition is upgraded, with the choice of executing them through completion on the pre-existing process or migrating to the upgraded definition. The migration of an instance of a process can be very useful in an environment where new process versions are frequently made to keep up with changes in organization, business logic, or regulation. Business process migration simplifies the lifecycle management of business process design. It also simplifies the development of customer applications because new versions of the applications need only comply with the latest version of the process design. The Business Process Designer comes with a simulator, which is a web-based application providing the ability to validate the business process instances through development and deployment phases. USF, or Unified Service Framework, allows the creation of business services. Prima Repository Service Framework provides the decoupling between the service definition with its service definitions, which works as a perfect layer of abstraction between the business applications and the legacy applications. This decoupling provides two advantages. Component replacement. Business applications will communicate with USF and therefore will help when replacing any component without affecting any other components. Compared to a service bus ESB, which forces you to implement services through web services, USF provides you an exhaustive list of implementation types, so you can use the best service implementation based on the infrastructure context. USF supports the configuration of multiple implementation types and versions for a particular service, providing maximum flexibility when you're migrating technology and your environment. This demo will highlight two key components of the demo repository: the Business Process Engine and the Unified Service Framework called USF. Let's first take a look at the Business Process Engine. The repository structure is organized around business domains, so let's go to the UND underwriting domain. Here's a list of the artifacts available for use. If we drill further into the underwriting processes, we open the main window where we have the ability to define the inputs and outputs for the business process. When we open the dependency window, we can see what business assets or artifacts this process uses. You can see that it is calling a rules set to evaluate the underwriting decisions and rules to automatically bind a policy. We see it has the ability to notify the different actors using the process by email. Lastly, in this process, we have a call to a service that has been defined in the Prima Repository for USF. One critical aspect is the ability to version the instances of the business processes. This provides the ability to manage the incremental changes that will happen. Drilling into the business process itself, we see a high-level view of the business process, which encompasses 3 business activities. Here, we can view the different activities related to the business process and can see the calls to the services and/or business rules located within the repository. Another key feature is that we can find any service or rule set needed by the business process, so there's no discovery of assets required. Everything that is needed is easy to find in one location. So we've just covered the first of these 2 key components. Let's move on to the second, USF. Let's look into the service framework USF, for example, to get model service. We can see we have different parameters for a service in the USF. We also have 2 notions, the service definition and the service implementation. On the service definition side, we have a couple of parameters that can be set when calling global transactions or calls to the legacy environment, actually anything that requires transactions. The service can be public or private. We can look for the service definition through introspection through the class folder around the Prima Repository server. Again, no discovery process as all the services are located within the repository. You can bind in permutations to the service definition, as we see here, where we have a Java type service with its name and can see the different elements related to the service implementation. Now we can always add a new version and say it should be a service implementation. As you can see, you can bind another service implementation. You can switch back and forth between the service implementations depending on your existing context, and this is a key feature. Included with the Prima Repository is a validation tool that runs automatically. If you make a change that violates the validation rules, you'll receive a validation error. So if, for example, I change one value to the service that is incorrect, you see we automatically are notified of the error. So there you have it, the 2 key components of Prima Repository, the business process engine and the universal service framework. Prima Repository is being used by insurance organizations for different business activities, from underwriting through policy administration to claims, and for all lines of business, including life, health, P&C, personal and commercial lines, in 4 key areas. Distribution efficiency provides unified view of a customer through the different insurance activities, underwriting, claims, endorsements. And sales process automation was key to our customers, especially the automation of the underwriting process with eligibility, rating, policy assurance automation. It also focuses on the distribution channel by building portal applications that brings alternate views of the business based on the distribution channel, direct, indirect channels, agency, brokers. Prima Repository has been used to not only build applications that will cover the portfolio of products from a product sales standpoint, but also from a policy management perspective. Administration efficiency, increasing the efficiency of the internal users through the automation of core processes, such as claims processes and underwriting. To wrap and extend legacy systems, Prima Repository is used to leverage existing legacy infrastructure so new features can be brought to the end customers. This strategy allows insurance companies to leverage their existing assets. Prima Repository with SOA promotes legacy transformation versus legacy replacement. Redevelopment of admin systems. Prima Repository is used to develop the next generation of their insurance-oriented applications, even if legacy structure will be preserved for data historical reasons. If you're looking to build your SOA initiative, want to stay within budget and have limited resources, consider Prima Repository, the only SOA repository providing a seamless integration of the core SOA components. Prima Repository, the framework to successfully jumpstart your SOA vision.